Welcome back, YouTubers, to another Raw review of us. No, the video didn't just cut out there, it's just the British fist.
Catching!
Mr. Parkin here, this guy sitting next to me is none of them, people. Just want to say something quickly. Throwing this ball against the wall and catching it for 3 hours would probably be a lot more fun and productive than watching this week's edition of Raw, but we'd like to give you some good advice. Make sure you tune in on Sunday, I believe 10 to 12 GMT. We will be doing a live stream based on Wrestlemania. We know how much you guys love live streams, so we thought we'd give you another one.
And talk about live streams, before we get into what else is to come, Dan, I received something in the post yesterday morning.
What was that?
I can't work out why we got this, but for some reason, I got two very, very smart ties. I wonder why I got sent these.
I have no clue. I really don't know. No idea what's going on there. But, yeah, anyway, so this Raw was pretty shit. But we have one piece of good news from this. Booker T's in the Hall of Fame. We'll say big congratulations to Booker T. He's been around since, I believe, 1993. A legend in WCW, a tag team champion, a US champion, a WWE World Heavyweight champion. He's been in the business 20 years. He's 48 years old. I think he definitely deserves this Hall of Fame, even though I feel a lot of people will maybe disagree.
Well, look at this Hall of Fame. We've really got some real big names, a nice rounded Hall of Fame. To add another big name to it may not be needed this year, but Booker T is definitely worthy and ready to be in the Hall of Fame.
So let's get on to the in-ring action and booking segment of this week's edition of the Raw Review. I think one of the reasons I didn't like this Raw too much is because the matches were just kind of squash matches. Not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying that it's kind of not the most entertaining matches to watch, apart from a couple. You have Cena versus Darren Young, which Cena predictably wins as he should do.
I really thought this was a really sad opener with this quick match with the primetime players. They had no reason to come out to John Cena, but the right thing happened. John Cena took him out.
Ryback versus Otunga, which Ryback wins and should win.
It wasn't just a standard match.
Fandango versus Carly never actually happened. Damien Sandow versus R-Truth. Sandow walks away, gets some pretty good heat though.
At least Sandow didn't lose a match. He ended up walking out to save him from losing yet another match.
It was a filler match. Hell No versus Epico and Primo, another example of an enhancement match. Team Hell No get the victory. Del Rio versus Cody Rhodes. Del Rio wins this match by submission.
There we go, another loss for the Team Rhodes Scholars.
Orton and Sheamus versus 3MB. This is a Sheamus and Orton win, as again it should have been. Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler. We've seen how many times Ziggler gets the win. I believe that's his third win in a row now, which is definitely good for a Dolph Ziggler who's holding that Money in the Bank briefcase.
And the quick thing I want to say about this is that, yes, these two you do expect to put on good matches, but yes, we've seen it before. But I don't think Kofi and Ziggler should be against each other, but it goes with what we said. These matches were really just there to give the right person the win.
And let's face it, the only people really Dolph Ziggler can beat are mid-carders for life, like Kofi Kingston, people like that. Even though he has beaten Kane and Daniel Bryan, so there we go. The best match of the night by far, in my opinion, was Barrett versus Miz versus Jericho for the Intercontinental Championship. Shame that Barrett didn't get his entrance shown, as he is the Intercontinental Champion. This was a really good match, in my opinion. You had Barrett winning in a typical cowardly heel way, even though in the fucking movie he plays a badass heel. I just don't get this.
I look at this match, it's a good, you do expect it, they're all good performers. Barrett's booking's not the best, but it should be. Jericho, Miz, there we go. So for this match, yes, I did thoroughly enjoy it.
I'll say this, right? You'd think if a guy had a major role in a movie, or not necessarily a major role, but played some kind of badass heel in a movie, that WWE would actually try and make him like a badass heel, and they're just going down the cowardly heel route with Wade Barrett. Again, another typical cookie-cutter cowardly heel. I'm sorry, that's just what I feel about Wade Barrett right now. Just very irrelevant.
But Barrett retaining does give me the feeling that they're going to push more from this match.
And this was the main event match as well. Now, when was the last time we could say the Intercontinental Championship match was the main event on Raw, technically? Another issue which I felt with this week's edition of Raw is I didn't really feel the biggest storylines on the show really got the big WrestleMania-like oomph build as I really thought they would. But that is for later on in this section. The smaller feuds, let's address first. We got the teasing of a feud between Fandango and Chris Jericho. I want to say something about Fandango. I'm actually quite interested in this character now. A very nice entrance, the curtains, the firework icon that goes above the ring, the dancing girl. I do like the way they're presenting him. He walks out of yet another match and gets quite a lot of heat by doing that. More heat than I'll say a CM Punk did for what he did from his earned promo. And it looks like they're not going to debut him until WrestleMania now, which is, I think a good way of going around it, especially if they're going to build to his debut. The interaction with Jericho backstage is where we're really concentrating on here.
I look at this and I still don't care about Fandango. I don't really see it going too long term. If it does, he'll being just here and there like Brodus Clay and Tensai were before they got this tag team. As for the backstage segment, some people have complained that Jericho stepped down from facing CM Punk before he went away to the Intercontinental mid-card, and now he's stepping down again to face Fandango. So, at the moment in time, Jericho, I personally would like to see him still do main event-worthy stuff, but his booking hasn't really made me care too much.
I'll say this feud makes a lot of sense. I mean, you look at it, Fandango is a Dancing with the Stars rip-off. He's one of those kind of guys that is like so good on the show that you kind of want to kick his ass. Which is a good heel. And you've got Jericho, who's also been on Dancing with the Stars. So this feud, in my opinion, while people may not like it and think that it's a step down for Jericho and think that Johnny Curtis isn't big enough to fill Jericho's boots in that sense, it does make a lot of sense. I'll just put it that way. We'll see where this goes. Team Hell No versus Ziggler and Langston. They had two. Ziggler won his match. Team Hell No won the match. They had that segment where Kane and Daniel Bryan came out and they basically gave a challenge to Ziggler and Langston. It would be Langston's first match, technically, on WWE if he's at WrestleMania.
I look at this and I'm really thinking, why is Ziggler getting put in filler, shall we say, when number one, he's Mr. Money in the Bank, going to become whatever champion when he cashes in, and now he's getting into a tag team title feud on the night he could possibly cash in. In my eyes, I thought Team Hell No could have done either a singles match against each other or faced another tag team. But instead, we're getting Langston in his first match and Ziggler facing the tag champs.
I gotta say this, at least they're getting Ziggler and Langston on the card. That's all I'll say. I will give my more thoughts on that as we go forward with this feud. Miz and Barrett look like they're going to have an IC Championship feud. It looks like this is going to happen at WrestleMania now. They've teased that Jericho Fandango feud, so you'll have to imagine this will be the feud going forward for the IC title.
Even though I like the idea of Barrett and Jericho, a big match at Mania, this way, at least it gives Miz somewhat of a big WrestleMania moment in a way. Not a main event scene, but a good match.
And you'd think this would be like the battle of the movie stars. You think WWE would build this up in a sense that both these guys have played important roles, Miz more so in a movie. But then you look at what they've done with Barrett since he's came back from his movie. They've done nothing but make fun of him. And I really think that you could have built Barrett a lot from his movie role, like I said earlier. You could have done the same with Miz as well. You could build this guy up into a real badass heel for the company using his movie role that he's just been in, and have Miz be a top babyface using the movie role that he's been in. But we all know WWE probably ain't going to do it like that. And even if they do, they're not going to do it right at all.
I'm quite against using the movie to make a feud because the movie is not wrestling. So that I'm kind of against. But this match I do compliment. These two I could both see having a feud as main eventers. Miz as a top babyface and Barrett as a top heel. But for this match, I accept it.
Barrett as a top heel now? Really?
I wish.
I'll say that. Del Rio and Swagger got some build on this Raw. Didn't really get much on SmackDown that we watched on Friday, so I was hoping we got a little bit of build to this feud. We had Swagger attacking Del Rio after his match. We had the brawl on the outside. They really did a good job in selling that Patriot lock on Ricardo Rodriguez, and it honestly looked like, from the camera angle they had, it's good camera work, that he actually did break his ankle. And, Ricardo Rodriguez sold that really well, in my opinion.
Could this be a way of the WWE to make it Del Rio on his own versus Swagger with Zeb? Maybe that's the way they do it, so the heels have the stronger advantage. But this tease, I do agree that SmackDown do need to concentrate a lot on the World Heavyweight title scene, because, in honesty, the last few weeks, the other three big matches have had the more focus.
Yeah, especially the Shield one on SmackDown. So that was a good segment, in my opinion, for this feud. Henry versus Ryback. Apparently, they brought Ryback out of that six-man tag that they announced on SmackDown. just randomly using Theodore Long and Vicky Guerrero because they wanted to go up against Mark Henry. While I agree with this match totally, like, why did you put him in a 6-man tag and then just take him out and put him in a singles match?
That's roughly what I was going to say. They teased this feud by the staring at each other, the in-the-ring moments together. Then they change it completely and make that 3-on-3 match. And now they're taking him out and putting him in. It's really not the best build for this feud. But at the same time, they've got 2 weeks, unless you include SmackDown, to make this match seem more, here it is, I want to see this, this is the way it should go.
I'll drop my ball. Anyway, yeah, so I am very for this Mark Henry Ryback match. I think it's definitely better than putting him in that 6-man tag. I just think that Ryback needs a singles match win at WrestleMania after he hasn't won stupidly since Money in the Bank.
And by the way, like Dan did, he dropped the ball like they could have done with this match.
Shield versus Orton, Sheamus, and we found out later on that would be Big Show. We basically had Shield come down after Orton and Sheamus beat 3MB, but out comes Big Show to even the odds to quite a big pop, actually. So to all you people that say Big Show sucks and there's no purpose in the company, quite clearly a lot of people care about him, which is why he has such a big role in the company. And when Big Show comes out, the Shield back down, showing that the odds are even. This is going to be a WrestleMania match now, you think?
I definitely see this being the WrestleMania match. But I always look at Big Show's neck and wonder what's that sitting on top of it. A face. Why it looks like Big Show the heel is joining a face team to face a heel faction. Hopefully they're not going to turn Big Show face again.
Well, they both have a equal agenda, so it does make sense in that way. And plus you've got a heel with 2 faces, which adds another little dimension to it if you think about it. But anyway, Punk versus Taker. This has been the main angle on the show for 2 weeks. It wasn't the main angle on the show this week. You had 1 segment on the show. You had Undertaker come out, and he wants the urn, otherwise he's going to hurt CM Punk at WrestleMania. You know, and then you had this segment with CM Punk where he just was talking a lot, and he really wasn't getting that much heat. And I wish I had a ball now, so I'll be doing what he's doing. But, you know, the segment just kind of was meh to me, and Punk really didn't get any heat, and it just all came across as very awkward. And then the segment ended, and it's like, you know, okay, you know, it just felt really awkward to me, just to me.
I felt, even though there was comedy in this, and yes, they carried on with CM Punk using Paul Bearer's death to continue this feud, but in my opinion, it got cut off all of a sudden instead of having Taker fight back or have a bit more to his promo. They made it all big throughout the night. Taker's going to be here, Taker's going to be here, and I don't really think it was the best promo from Taker.
Well, the promo from Taker was short and sweet. I felt the CM Punk promo really did not really do its job to gain any heat. As much as people love to kiss CM Punk's ass on here, I'm sorry, but if you have a guy that's just getting 0 heat from a crowd, Fandango got more heat than CM Punk tonight. I'm just saying. Let's move on to the Rock and Cena feud now. We haven't, you know, this feud hasn't been the main angle on the show for 3 weeks now. 3 weeks. This is the main event of WrestleMania, and it hasn't been the main angle on the show or in the main event for 3 weeks. And there was probably a reason for this, because Rock, again, wasn't there this week. And, you know, what they did this week on the show, it really isn't selling me on this main event at all. I really felt that if they were going to do this match again, they needed to do something different and something new and something fresh, but we're just really not getting that with this match right now. I'm all for this match happening. I'm just saying we're not really getting much from this, and it's hard to be excited about this match right now.
We had the sucky opener of John Cena's promo. That didn't even give me hyped up for his match against Rock. He just says, he goes through his old thing, gonna face the Rock and all this rubbish. And then at the end, all that thing got a repeat of their WrestleMania video package. And I'm just like, is this the best we're going to get this week? And it was.
Well, the opener, you had John Cena actually, because of a very mixed reaction. He got interrupted by Rufus Pancake Patterson, which is basically Titus O'Neil. I'm sorry, guys. Because he flattens fools, right? And he was killing it on the mic tonight. Titus O'Neil was killing it on the mic tonight. And you notice how the crowd cheered when the primetime players said that they did. You know, when the primetime players said they didn't want him at WrestleMania, the crowd cheers. Now, if there's nothing to say that people just dislike John Cena, then I think that is definitely it.
I think the best thing they could do with primetime players is make them a comedy thing, because they never win matches, and tonight proved it.
Alright, so the main talking point of this show will no doubt be the Triple H Lesnar contract signing. We did a video on Sunday asking what the stipulation would be. There was a lot of discussion there, but I don't think many people would have had this stipulation in mind. This segment itself, I'll say this. Going through Raw, which I thought was just such a boring show, we got to about 3 a.m., which is 3 hours into the show, and quite frankly, I just lost interest in the show and this main event. And this main event went on all the way through the overrun until a quarter freaking past. I mean, come on.
I look at this, and the first thing that threw me is that the way that Triple H knew exactly what the thing was, you have to sign the contract to get to know the stipulation. And Heyman, I'm going to blame on WWE's booking on Heyman here, because Heyman went on and on saying, well, you have your hand tied behind your back, your ankle's tied. He just dragged it on and on. Triple H knew he just had to sign it. When it came to the time when Triple H had to sign it, he just did it.
Zero crowd reaction. There was no crowd reaction because they dragged it on so long. And the crowd tonight was freaking awful, by the way. You know, I'm going to just ignore the fact that no logical businessman like Triple H is, because he is the COO of Raw, it says it on his entrance, would he really do this without looking at the contract first? I understand what they're trying to do, but I'm just pointing this out. The stipulation for the match, which we found out eventually, it would be a no-holds-barred match with Triple H's career on the line, which, again, drew very little reaction, and quite frankly, it didn't draw that much reaction from me, because by the time I got to the main event, I turned off from this show totally.
We had the whole unable to check the contract last at SummerSlam. Triple H just signed it. He did the same thing this time, but the beatdown on Heyman obviously drew out Lesnar. It got to the point where it was done, match made. Heyman added the added stipulation of him taking over Triple H's job. And I thought that was interesting, because obviously I wanted that at SummerSlam, and SummerSlam to Mania was going to be the big build-up, but they're doing it now. So does this mean the Brock Lesnar and Triple H feud is going to continue on after WrestleMania? The Triple H, if he loses, which he probably won't because of this,
he's not going to.
The feud will continue. But I will say this, as much as I was looking forward to seeing Triple H again, Raw really didn't give me hyped up to this.
Like I said, throwing a ball at a wall and doing this was more exciting than watching Raw for 3 hours this week. So 3.5 hours and 15 minutes of time pretty much wasted. Raw was just boring. I'm sorry. That's how I feel about Raw right now. It is just incredibly boring. Give us your thoughts on this week's edition of Raw down in the comment section below, please, if you will.
And from Mr. Parkin, me and Jay, thank you very much for watching. Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. Tune in for our live stream, and obviously TNA and SmackDown. And until next time, YouTubers, goodbye.
I dropped my ball again.